We looked at simple interest and how our account changed based on the interest. Now let's look at compound interest. First, let's talk about what compound interest is. So if we start with, say, $500, and we put it into the bank, we get some amount of interest after 1 year. Okay, and so to find that amount of interest, say we're getting 5% interest, and we're talking about 1 year, so it's going to be 500 times 1 plus 0.05 times 1. So 500 times 1.05, and we get $525. So we're earning $25 in interest after the first year. So now we have $525. So this is year 1. Now we have $525. And we're going to get some amount of interest at the end of the second year. That's compounding. So in this case, we will have 525 times that 1 plus 0.05 times the 1. So remember, it's 1.05. So now we have 525 times 1.05. So we'll have 551.25. If we subtract off the 525, we get 2650 in interest. So that's more than we got for the first year because we had the interest included in our account. Let's do it for another year. So we're starting year 3 off with $551.25. And so we're going to take that $551.25 and multiply it by that 1.05. And we're getting another chunk of interest so that at the start of the 4th year, we're going to have 578.81. So I'm just going to subtract off that 551.25 because I want to write in how much interest I earned, which was $27.56. So what we're looking at here is starting off with a small amount of money, earning interest on it. Those get added together, and that's our balance for the start of the next year. And then we use that balance to calculate the interest, so we get more interest than we got in the first year because we have a bigger principal for the second year. Find that interest, add those two together, and there's our starting balance for our third year. And then calculate the interest for the third year, add those two together, that's the starting balance for the 4th year, and so on. And so what we see here is we call this compounding because every year we're making more and more money in interest because our balance is bigger and bigger. So we earn money on the starting value, the $500, but also on all the interest that's been calculated before the year that we're sitting in. So if we're talking about year 3, we're calculating on $551.25, which represents all of the principal and interest from year 2 and all of the principal and interest from year 1. So that's a really good deal when you do compounding, and that's actually what most banks do, is the compounding. You'll see the simple interest used mostly for savings bonds, and occasionally we use it when we're talking about credit card debt and credit card interest payments too. Okay, so the bottom line, what I'd like you to take away from this is, so compound interest is calculated on the principal and the interest that was calculated in all previous calculations. I'm being a little bit vague there because we have a bunch of different ways that we calculate interest, and you'll see that in a minute.